The rain-slicked streets of Chicago gleamed under the streetlights, but up here, on the rooftop of the old jazz club, the world felt impossibly still. Marcus Kane, 28, stood frozen, his heart hammering as he watched Ethan Caldwell's silhouette against the city's skyline. Ethan's breath hitched, a confession trembling on his lips, and Marcus knew this moment could shatter them both, or bind them forever. They'd met 6 months ago, in a crowded campaign office buzzing with ambition. Marcus, a graphic designer volunteering for Ethan's city council campaign, had been drawn to Ethan's charisma, his easy laugh, and the way his hazel eyes lingered just a second too long. Ethan, 29, was the golden boy of Chicago politics, a rising star with a senator father and a future mapped out by expectation. But that night, as Marcus handed Ethan a stack of flyers, their fingers brushed, and something unspoken sparked. It was a dangerous kind of electricity, one that could burn down Ethan's carefully curated world. Now, on this rooftop, Ethan's voice broke the silence. "I can't keep doing this, Marcus," he whispered, his words heavy with guilt. "Every time I'm with you, I'm lying to everyone else." Marcus's chest tightened. He wanted to scream that love shouldn't feel like a crime, but he knew Ethan's truth. A gay fiancé didn't fit into the Caldwell legacy. Their story began in the chaos of the campaign trail. Marcus had been designing posters late one night when Ethan, exhausted from a rally, slumped into the chair beside him. "You make this look easy," Ethan had said, gesturing to the sleek campaign logo Marcus had crafted. Marcus grinned. "It's just lines and colors. You're the one selling hope to a city." Ethan's laugh was soft, unguarded, and Marcus felt the first crack in his own defenses. Over weeks, stolen glances turned into late-night talks over coffee, then secret walks along Lake Michigan. Ethan shared stories of his father's relentless ambition, the weight of being a Caldwell, and the suffocating expectations of a political dynasty. Marcus, raised in a tight-knit South Side family, spoke of his own dreams, building a design studio, living authentically, loving without fear. Their worlds were miles apart, yet they fit together in ways neither could explain. But Ethan's campaign was gaining traction, and with it came scrutiny. His father, Senator James Caldwell, had clear plans. Ethan would marry a suitable woman, preferably one with political connections, and climb the ladder to Congress. Marcus was a risk, a black, openly gay artist with no pedigree to offer. Their relationship, hidden in shadowed corners and late-night texts, was a ticking time bomb. One evening, at a fundraiser in a glittering downtown hotel, Marcus watched Ethan charm a room of donors. Ethan's smile was perfect, his speech flawless, but Marcus saw the strain in his eyes. Later, in a quiet hallway, Ethan pulled Marcus close. "I wish I could stand up there and tell them about you," he murmured. Marcus's heart soared, then sank. "You'd lose everything," he said softly. Ethan didn't argue. The tension grew as election day loomed. Marcus overheard whispers at campaign headquarters, rumors about Ethan's friend, who spent too much time around. A tabloid reporter started asking questions, and Ethan's father began pressing him about settling down. "You need stability, son," James Caldwell said, his voice cold. "Voters don't trust a bachelor forever." Marcus felt the walls closing in. Back on the rooftop, Marcus took Ethan's hand, his voice steady despite the ache. "You don't have to choose tonight," he said, "but you can't keep running from who you are." Ethan's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I love you," he said, the words raw and desperate, "but my world, it won't let me." Marcus pulled him close, the city sprawling below them, a silent witness to their fragile, forbidden love. The Chicago wind cut through Marcus's jacket as he stood outside Ethan's campaign office, the neon sign flickering above. Inside, Ethan was strategizing with his team, his face a mask of focus. Marcus knew that mask hid a storm, because last night, Ethan had kissed him fiercely, then pulled away, whispering, "This might be the last time." The campaign was in its final sprint, and Ethan's lead in the polls was razor-thin. His opponent, a grizzled incumbent named Patricia Holt, played dirty, digging for any scandal to derail him. Marcus felt the weight of it every time Ethan's phone buzzed with another urgent call from his father. Senator Caldwell's voice was a constant shadow, reminding Ethan of the legacy he was meant to uphold. "You're not just running for you," James had said at a family dinner Marcus wasn't invited to. "You're running for all of us." Marcus tried to focus on his designs, bold posters, vibrant social media graphics, but his mind kept drifting to Ethan. Their moments together were stolen, fleeting. A brush of hands in a crowded elevator, a shared laugh over takeout in Marcus's tiny apartment. Each touch felt like defiance, each glance a rebellion against a world that demanded Ethan be someone else. One night, after a debate where Ethan shone, they met in a quiet park near the Art Institute. Ethan was still in his suit, tie loosened, his hair a mess from nervous fingers. "You were incredible tonight," Marcus said, sitting on a bench under a canopy of stars. Ethan's smile faltered. "I kept thinking about you watching," he admitted. "It made me want to say something real, not just campaign promises." Marcus's heart ached. "Then say it," he urged. Ethan looked away, the weight of his father's expectations silencing him. The pressure intensified when a gossip blog posted a blurry photo of them together at a coffee shop. The caption read, "Who's the mystery man with Caldwell's golden boy?" Ethan's team scrambled to spin it as a professional meeting, but Marcus saw the panic in Ethan's eyes. "They're watching us," Ethan said, his voice tight. "If this gets out, it's over." Marcus wanted to argue, to demand they face it together, but the fear in Ethan's face stopped him. He knew what was at stake, not just the election, but Ethan's entire future. At a campaign event in Lincoln Park, Marcus stood at the back, watching Ethan shake hands with voters. A woman in a red dress, Claire Thornton, lingered too long, her smile calculated. Marcus had heard the rumors. Claire, the daughter of a prominent donor, was the perfect match Senator Caldwell wanted for Ethan. When Claire slipped her arm through Ethan's, Marcus's stomach twisted. Ethan didn't pull away. Later, in a dimly lit bar, Ethan found Marcus and apologized. "It's just optics," he said, his voice pleading. "It doesn't mean anything." Marcus's jaw clenched. "It means something to me," he said quietly. "Every time you play their game, I'm the one who gets erased." Ethan reached for his hand, but Marcus stepped back. "I can't keep being your secret," he said, his voice breaking. The next day, Marcus found a note slipped under his apartment door. In Ethan's handwriting, it read, "Meet me at the lakefront, midnight. I need you." Marcus's heart raced. He wanted to believe Ethan could choose him, could choose love over ambition. But as he walked to the lake, the Chicago skyline glittering in the distance, doubt gnawed at him. Ethan was waiting, his silhouette framed by the water, and for a moment, Marcus let himself hope. "I'm trying," Ethan said, his voice raw. "I want to be with you, but I don't know how to do this without losing everything." Marcus took his hand, the cold night air wrapping around them. "Then we figure it out together," he said. "Or we don't." The words hung between them, heavy with the weight of what was to come. The lakefront was silent except for the gentle lapping of waves, but Marcus's heart roared with uncertainty. Ethan stood before him, his hazel eyes searching for forgiveness, for a way forward. "I'm not ready to lose you," Ethan said, his voice barely above a whisper, and Marcus felt the pull of love and fear in equal measure. The campaign had reached a fever pitch. Ethan's face was everywhere: billboards, TV ads, social media feeds. Marcus's designs were part of that machine, his art shaping Ethan's public image while their private truth stayed buried. But the cracks were showing. A reporter from a local paper cornered Marcus at a campaign event, asking pointed questions about his role in Ethan's life. Marcus deflected, but the encounter left him shaken. He wasn't just risking his heart, he was risking Ethan's dreams. At a strategy meeting, Marcus overheard Ethan's campaign manager, Rachel, urging him to clean up his image. "People are talking, Ethan," she said sharply. "You need to be seen with Claire Thornton. It shuts down the rumors." Marcus's blood ran cold. He slipped out before Ethan could see him, but the image of Claire's arm in Ethan's burned in his mind. That night, Marcus confronted Ethan in his apartment, a sleek high-rise paid for by his father's connections. "Are you going to do it?" Marcus demanded. "Parade around with Claire to save your campaign?" Ethan's face crumpled. "It's not about wanting her," he said. "It's about survival. My father, he'll cut me off if I don't play by his rules." Marcus's voice softened, but his words cut. "And what about my rules, Ethan? What about us?" The argument left them raw, but it also brought clarity. Ethan pulled Marcus into a desperate embrace, whispering promises to find a way. They made love that night, their connection fierce and fragile, as if they could hold back the world through sheer will. But morning brought reality crashing in. A text from Ethan's father, demanding he attend a gala with Claire as his date. Marcus threw himself into his work, designing a new batch of campaign materials, but his heart wasn't in it. He started sketching something else, a portrait of Ethan, not the polished candidate, but the man who laughed at his bad jokes, who kissed him under the stars. The sketch was a rebellion, a reminder of what they could be if Ethan were free. At the gala, Marcus stayed away, unable to watch Ethan play the role of the dutiful son. But Ethan texted him late that night, "I couldn't do it. I left early. Come to the rooftop." Marcus raced to their spot, the same jazz club rooftop where they'd shared their first confession. Ethan was there, his tie undone, his eyes red. "I told Claire I can't be what they want," he said. "I don't know what happens next, but I'm done pretending." Marcus's heart soared, but fear tempered his joy. "Your father won't let this go," he said. Ethan nodded, his jaw tight. "I know, but I'm tired of living his life." They stood together, the city sprawling below, and Marcus felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could carve out a space for themselves. But the next morning, a bombshell dropped. A tabloid published a grainy photo of them kissing on the lakefront, with a headline screaming, "Caldwell's Secret Scandal." Ethan's phone exploded with calls, his father, his campaign team, reporters. Marcus watched him pace, his world unraveling. "We can fix this," Ethan said, but his voice lacked conviction. Marcus took his hand. "We don't fix it," he said. "We face it." For the first time, Ethan didn't pull away. The tabloid headline was a wildfire, spreading through Chicago's political circles and beyond. Marcus woke to his phone buzzing with notifications. Friends, co-workers, even strangers weighing in on the scandal. Ethan's campaign office was a war zone, with advisors shouting over each other, trying to contain the damage. Marcus sat in his apartment, staring at the sketch he'd drawn of Ethan, wondering if love was worth this chaos. Ethan arrived at Marcus's door an hour later, his face pale, his suit rumpled. "My father's pulling funding," he said, his voice hollow. "He says I've ruined the family name." Marcus's heart sank, but he pulled Ethan inside. "You didn't ruin anything," he said fiercely. "You're finally being honest." Ethan's laugh was bitter. "Honest? I'm a liability now." The campaign team pushed for damage control. Rachel suggested a press conference where Ethan would deny the relationship, call it a misunderstanding. Marcus felt sick at the thought. "If you do this," he told Ethan, "you're not just denying me, you're denying yourself." Ethan's eyes searched his, torn between love and duty. "I don't know how to fix this," he admitted. Marcus took his hand. "We don't fix it, we live it." The next day, Ethan faced the press alone. Marcus watched the live stream from his apartment, his heart in his throat. Ethan stood at the podium, his voice steady but his hands trembling. "I've spent my life trying to be what others expect," he said, "but I can't lie about who I am. I'm in love with Marcus Kane, and I'm not ashamed of it." The room erupted in questions, but Ethan walked off, his head high. The fallout was immediate. Donors pulled out, polls tanked, and Senator Caldwell issued a statement disowning his son's choices. But Ethan didn't waver. He showed up at Marcus's apartment that night, a small bag in hand. "I'm done with their game," he said. "Can I stay here?" Marcus pulled him into a hug, tears stinging his eyes. For the first time, they felt like partners, not a secret. They spent days rebuilding, ignoring the noise of the outside world. Marcus introduced Ethan to his family, who welcomed him with warmth and no judgment. Ethan, free from his father's shadow, started to laugh again, to dream of a life beyond politics. They talked about moving to a quieter city, maybe opening a community art space where Marcus could teach and Ethan could find his own path. But the world wasn't done with them. Patricia Holt's campaign seized the scandal, painting Ethan as unstable. A debate was scheduled, and Ethan's team begged him to withdraw. "You can still salvage this," Rachel said. Ethan looked at Marcus, who nodded. "Do it," Marcus said. "Not for them, but for you." Ethan agreed, but only if Marcus stood by his side. The debate was electric. Ethan spoke with a fire Marcus hadn't seen before, addressing the scandal head-on. "Love isn't a liability," he told the crowd. "It's what makes us human." Marcus, watching from the front row, felt pride swell in his chest. The audience was divided, some booed, others cheered, but Ethan didn't falter. Afterward, they walked hand in hand through the city, ignoring the stares. "I don't know if I'll win," Ethan said, his voice soft. "But I feel free." Marcus squeezed his hand. "You already won," he said. The city lights glowed around them, a testament to their resilience. But Marcus knew the fight wasn't over. There was one last hurdle: Election Day. Election Day dawned cold and gray, the Chicago skyline shrouded in mist. Marcus and Ethan stood outside a polling station, their breath visible in the chilly air. Ethan's campaign had taken a beating, but his resolve hadn't wavered. "No matter what happens," he told Marcus, "we're in this together." Marcus nodded, his heart full but heavy with the weight of what today could mean. The campaign office was quiet, the usual frenzy replaced by a tense anticipation. Volunteers manned phones, but the energy was different, hopeful but grounded. Marcus stayed close to Ethan, his presence a steady anchor. As results trickled in, the race was tight, too close to call. Ethan's speech at the debate had swayed some voters, but the scandal still loomed large. Late that night, the final tally came in. Ethan lost by a narrow margin. The room deflated, but Ethan took Marcus's hand and stepped outside. "I thought I'd feel broken," he said, staring at the stars. "But I don't. I feel whole." Marcus pulled him close, tears in his eyes. "You're enough," he said. "You always were." In the weeks that followed, Ethan stepped away from politics. He and Marcus moved to a small house in Evanston, where Marcus opened a studio to teach art to kids from underserved communities. Ethan found work with a nonprofit advocating for inclusivity in local government. They built a life together, not as a candidate and his secret, but as partners open and unafraid. One evening on their rooftop, Marcus proposed. He didn't have a ring, just a sketch of them together, framed by the Chicago skyline. "I don't care about the world's rules," he said, his voice steady. "I want you forever." Ethan's eyes shone as he said yes, and they kissed under the stars, the city a silent witness to their love. Their story didn't end the scandal or change the political machine overnight, but it rippled. Young people wrote to Ethan saying his courage gave them hope. Marcus's art classes became a safe space for kids questioning their identities. Together, they proved that love could be a revolution, one heart at a time. Years later, at a Pride event in Boys Town, Ethan spoke to a crowd, Marcus by his side. "I lost an election," he said, "but I gained a life. Love isn't a weakness. It's the strongest thing we have." The crowd cheered, and Marcus felt the weight of their journey settle into something beautiful, something lasting. As they walked home, hand in hand, Marcus glanced at the bench where they'd carved their truth years ago. The words were still there, weathered but clear. "Love dares where laws divide." It was a reminder of their fight, their love, and the world they were building. One where no one had to hide who they were.